I'm Dr. Nancy, and this is Dr. Nancy Knows. Up next is A.C. Caswell, former Oakland Raider NFL, serial entrepreneur, and philanthropist. Stay tuned. Hi, I'm Dr. Nancy, your medical celebrity doctor, and this is Dr. Nancy Knows, the talk show that inspires, motivates, and brings awareness to many communities across our country, uniting our nation, bridging the gap of disparity. We do that not only through my 25 years of experience, but through expert guests that come on the show and tell us what they're doing to give back in their local circle of influence. And today's show will not disappoint. We have a local celebrity in the house today. We have A.C. Coswell. He's a former Oakland Raider NFL player. He also is a serial entrepreneur and loves giving back with his philanthropic works throughout the country. A.C., it's so nice to have you on the show.
Thank you, Dr. Nancy. So first of all, I want to say thank you. Amazing, beautiful setting here. I love it. I walked in, I felt immediately comfortable because as everybody know, I'm a silver and black man. I'm a Raider, and I felt like, wow, this is power. So I love it. So thank you. And once again, thank you for building a platform for us athletes. You know, it's something we can come in off the field or off the court and really talk about what we're passionate about, and that's really giving back. So thank you for doing what you're doing and giving us that opportunity.
Absolutely. You know, we have had similar circles of friends and colleagues, and we ran across one another on social media, LinkedIn. You know, what is your network, right? Your net worth is your network.
Absolutely.
And when we met, instantly loved what you're doing and vice versa. And here on Dr. Nancy Knows, we talk about aligning yourself with individuals that are like-minded and or driven individuals. And I read all about you. Have recently come to one of your events that was phenomenal as well. There's so many different ways that you give back.
Sure.
One mainly through your nonprofit, $1 Million Mingle. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh man, I'll tell you what, that is something very exciting that vision came across. Obviously, you know, I'm a very spiritual guy. I let everybody know that, and that's where the visions come from, like yourself. And, being an athlete, we've had an opportunity to obviously raise millions of dollars all over the world for great programs and Boys and Girls Clubs and YMCAs. And we felt as though that as athletes, we've been a part of some of the most prestigious events that money can buy. I mean, literally red carpet, Grammys, ESPYs, you name it. But I've always walked away like, wow, what can we do a little bit better? Can we attract a little bit bigger company, raise more money? How can we make it more of a flashy, glitzy event? So about 2006, the vision came to me to start the $1 Million Mingle, and I said, okay, why, and I'm already about big events, I love putting on big grand events and red carpet events, but this vision came to me and said, let's create this event, let's call it the $1 Million Mingle, and we're going to put together an all-star team, event coordinators, brainstormers, social media, and make sure that we never raise anything less than $1 million. So when that vision came to me, I said, okay, what is the best way to capture that? And how can we have fun doing it, right? Because if we can't have fun doing it, why are we doing it? So knowing my circle of friends and celebrities and athletes and corporate partners, they said, hey, we love this idea. Let's make it a private invite only. And our first ever event was the $1 Million Mingle Mansion Party that we did in Scottsdale. We birthed it in Scottsdale. 4,000 people showed up, at a mansion party. It was from celebrities to athletes. I won't do all the name dropping. They can go read about who showed up. And we raised probably a little bit about under $500,000 that first year, first time doing it. But people loved it. And they said, man, how do we keep getting this $1 Million Mingle? What is it? I love it. I love the brand. I love the quality of it. And from there on, we just birthed it. And here we are in, 2021, going on 22, again with the $1 Million Mingle.
Well, you do so much with that as well. You make it an experience over a weekend with lots of activities as well. Where does the monies that you raise, how do you give back? What do you do with it?
Sure. Well, like anything else, these events are not cheap. People say nonprofit, and they think everything falls out of the sky for free, and that's not the case. For me, I always started with myself, and I looked in the mirror and said, hey, I have to invest my own money, my own time, to make this thing become a reality, and I've done that for years, but as we do that, as we build this presentation of just amazingness, it attracts some major corporate sponsors to say, hey, how do we become a part of this? We love where the money is going to. Every year, desperately we sit back and we brainstorm and say, what is our next cause? What is that next organization? And this is not a disrespect to the big names, as we call the big nonprofits. They know who they are, and that's not a disrespect. But we tirelessly look for those nonprofits behind the scenes that are working, that are grinding, that are feeding kids, that are, you don't see them in the media, you don't see their name in lights, but every day they're providing a service. So I made a commitment to myself and my staff and said, look, the $1 Million Mingle, we created a tagline that says, we fight for life causes. So we look for those causes. So over these past, 12, 13, whatever plus years, we've been able to bless organizations like Rise and Dream Foundation, But You Don't Look Sick Foundation. I mean, these are nonprofits that you don't know who they are, but their work is amazing. So that was an attachment to me. I said, we can get behind that, And those brands who might not understand who those nonprofits are, they do now. Because we took the time to market those brands, promote those brands, advertise their logo as big brands. And now people are saying, wow, these are some amazing causes. How do we support them? So
that's excellent. Yeah. It's our unsung heroes. I truly root for the underdog. I came from humble beginnings, and you have to start somewhere. And if it's something that you support, you've got to promote it. Mm-hmm. And that leads me to my next question with your entrepreneurial style and leadership. You're CEO of Future Pro Sports Marketing as well. So not only do you use your nonprofit to bring awareness to some of the smaller nonprofits, organizations around the world, but also through your marketing strategies as well, that you feed that into, bringing more awareness to the services.
Absolutely. And just for those who, and thank you for your platform again and your viewers, being a professional athlete, you're going to go down a couple of roads to figure out, like, who am I and what am I going to do life after sports? And for me, I was blessed with an owner, God rest his soul, Mr. Al Davis, who was the owner of the Raiders. And I tell people this all the time in my interviews. He taught me business. He taught me marketing. He taught me branding. He's the one who invested into me other than an athlete and said, man, if you're going to be a part of the Raiders, know our history. Know how I made this organization to be known all over the world, which is true. And if you do something, you do it to be number one. You do it to be big, bold, brassy, number one, and you build this image like no other. So that's where I get that vibe from of wanting to be the best. And let's do it big. So I'm so thankful of Mr. Al, who gave me that platform to learn marketing. And now I fell in love with it, and I said, hey, man, let's just become great at it.
There's so many good nuggets in that statement that you made. One, a mentor. Mm-hmm. Two, are you dreaming big enough, right?
Absolutely.
Three, you've empowered yourself to just go outside of your comfort zone and discover some new gifts. Because you're very talented. God has blessed you with a number of gifts. I mean, it started very early in your life, too. At Glendale Community College, and you were at the Deer Valley High School. You broke all kinds of records, and you were esteemed there as well. So here's to say that, sometimes you think you know all the gifts that you have, but a lot of times when you push yourself a little bit further and step outside your comfort zone, you discover more gifts that you have to continue to bless other people.
Absolutely. I mean, you're absolutely correct. I mean, when I look at my childhood, if it's okay to say, I grew up in South Central LA, very, very hard community. My personal stories out there is no secret. I didn't have a biological father in my life, but I had to find what was that one thing that I gravitated towards. And for me, I love sports. That was my vehicle. My mom encouraged me, my uncles encouraged me, and just people that believed in me. And I said, well, how do I take that risk? How do I use sports as a platform to let whatever's inside of me develop? And I was blessed enough to let that play itself out. Mm-hmm. Being able to come to Deer Valley High School and break records and do good, and going off to college. And now people are taking notice, like, man, this kid is pretty talented. Does he have the skill set to take it to the next level? Then you have your naysayers. Oh, he's not going to make it. He didn't come from a big school, or he didn't have a good family behind him or a structure. He's not going to make it. So for me, it was about building that factor in me that I want to take this risk. And I think if I take this risk, I obviously work at it, because to become a professional in anything, it takes work. It's not a given.
Absolutely does.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And, Wow. Some of the other organizations that you give back to
Sure.
is one near and dear to you is regarding cancer, melanoma.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, unfortunately, and Dr. Nash, you know a lot about this, obviously, in your expertise, but I came out of a very cancerous family. I lost two uncles and three aunts, and almost lost my mom in high school through cancer, and thank God we saved her, through the medical procedures. And we thought that cycle stopped. We've been doing pretty good for years, and then out of the blue, as of 2 years ago, we got the word that my little nephew, Robert Niles, was diagnosed with melanoma stage 3 cancer. And that was a challenging time of my life because I knew what my gift was here to do. Okay, and I have a passion raising money for kids all over the world. It doesn't matter. And I was challenged. I looked at myself, I talked to my family, and I said, if I've been here and put on earth to raise millions of dollars for nonprofits and charities, do you think I'm not going to adopt my own flesh and blood nephew? Of course I am. So we quickly sprung into action and made him a part of the $1 Million Mingle as a recipient from here on out in everything that we do. So yeah.
Now that's a story because, listen, you were riddled with cancer in your family, but that gave you the courage and, the experience to go through that and to, give this gift with your nephew and experience it in a different way. Absolutely. And give back. So again, our journeys, peaks and valleys, ebbs and flows, wins and learns. What is it that we are to take away from certain situations? How is it to make us better ultimately? And how are we to give back? Because as social beings, we are here to help one another and to make this place a better world, obviously, right? Now, any particular advice that you might like to give to young entrepreneurs or even young athletes? Because it's a long, arduous process.
Absolutely.
You can have the gift, but it takes discipline.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
You have to discount fear.
Absolutely.
It's a mindset.
Absolutely. A great question, and I say it all the time. I do some amazing speaking engagements, and I love talking about this topic. And I will always share it with, first of all, our young entrepreneurs, and I'll take a little bit step further, in more of our, stricken poverty communities, more of those true underprivileged served communities. I always tell them that you can make it. You have the same spirit of greatness in you that I have and the next person have. And don't ever give up and think that you can't make it. It may be a different type of business. So us athletes, we should be held accountable. We should be role models to go back into our communities and let these young people hear our stories. Because it wasn't perfect. Everybody didn't come through perfect ways. We had to fight for it. So I believe that everyone has a spirit of greatness in them. Now, to achieve greatness comes work. It just doesn't happen, right? So just like for me to become a professional athlete, I had to work at it. Talent or not, I had to learn how to become better, get great, and become successful. So same with an entrepreneur, you have the same ability. Let no one tell you, even sometimes if you don't accomplish certain degrees, you still can go out here and take your vision, learn what your vision is. And I tell people this all the time, no matter what it is, you've got to have a passion. Your passion is what drives you. Your passion is what tells you when people say that you're not going to make it or you need to quit and give up and you're not built for this. So your passion wakes you up and say, no, I'm going to do this. I may fall, I may slip, I may lose a couple of businesses and learn how to get the right businesses. But if you have a passion behind it, so that's one thing that I'll always say. Keep passion behind your vision and you can become an entrepreneur.
That's awesome. Now, how does individuals get a hold of you if they'd like to be a part of your Mingle or donate to your nonprofit or, just to even ask you for some advice?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think, first of all, I would love for them to, number one, respectfully go through you to get to us, right? Because it's about Dr. Nancy. We thank you for your platform. But I can be reached at any of my social media platforms. I'm humble about it. They can find me under AC Caswell. I don't have any hidden names and disguised names, just AC Caswell, and then they can go to milliondollarmingle.com or $1 Million Mingle Experience or Google $1 Million Mingle. And it'll tell you guys who I am, my team of other professional athletes who have come together and said, guys, let's create a cause and a purpose and let's give back. But I will tell you one thing, stay in contact with the $1 Million Mingle, okay? Because that vehicle right there, we raise money, but we have an amazing time doing it. but we are a private invite-only event, so you got to stay in contact with us to get to us.
That's right.
We thank you.
So, moving into New Year 2022, you have any upcoming projects, events? What do you have planned for 2022?
We always try to come out with a bang, obviously, but me personally, I'm extremely busy. I sit on our Super Bowl board, our NFL board. As you guys know, we're getting ready for the Super Bowl in LA. And then we come back in 2022 here in Arizona. So I'm probably going to be burnt out from Super Bowl in LA. So we're going to hold off on New Year's, but we will tell you this. We have something coming up very special in March. Okay, the $1 Million Mingle Explosion. It's going to be amazing. So please stay in tune with us, stay connected with us, because when we do this in March, trust me, and this attracts people from all over the world, globally, just like we did this year with Polo, globally, nationally, and locally, but you have to be invited. That's the key. So March, we're coming with a bang.
Well, you've heard it right here on Dr. Nancy Knows. AC Caswell, it's such a pleasure to have you on the show. Remember, it's not only what I know, but it's who I know. Stay tuned.